What's up? Today we are talking about adjudicated property. And what is adjudicated property, right? You remember when you was at like your high school dance and you were leaning against the wall, you was hoping that person asked you for a dance. They never really did. The DJ said this is the last song and you just knew it wasn't going to happen. And then to add insult to your injury, the principal come tapped you on your shoulder and said, "Come on, I'll dance with you." That kind of is an adjudicated property, right? When Karen brought the potato salad to the family cookout and the potato salad had raisins in it and everybody respectfully passed it up. And at the end of the cookout, Momo wrapped it up and put it in the refrigerator until she found some way to dispose of it quietly. That is pretty much an adjudicated property, right? So now let's get into the weeds of what actually is an adjudicated property. An adjudicated property stems from tax sales, right? If you do not pay your property taxes, the following year or a couple of years thereafter, it may qualify for a tax sale. Now, a tax sale happens once a year, and there's post-January 1st, 2026 tax sale laws, and there's pre-January 1st, 2026 tax sale laws. We are talking about the pre-January 1st, 2026 tax sale laws. Now, you might be saying, Jay, why are you talking about tax sales when we're talking about adjudications? Because tax sales and adjudications are very closely related. You kind of can't have one without the other, right? So I'll explain. Here, for example, in the state of Louisiana, tax sales have a 3-year redemptive period, right? From the date of recordation, the date that tax sale certificate is recorded, the property owner has 3 years to go and redeem that tax sale, right? Now, let's say at that annual tax sale, when the property is put up for bid, the taxes, not the property, right? We'll get into that later, but it's the taxes that are going out for bid, not the property. At that point, right, if no one bids on it, then the city of New Orleans says, "I'll take it," right? And so it's adjudicated to the city of New Orleans, right? And so then it becomes an adjudicated property. So when you hear about the new task force that's being proposed or that has been created through an executive order by Helena Moreno, when you hear about the adjudicated property task force, that's what they're talking about. The 6,500 adjudicated properties that went to tax sale, didn't sell, and then were adjudicated to the city of New Orleans, and they hold the tax sale interest, in essence, of these properties. They do not own these properties. I'm going to say that one more time. The city of New Orleans does not own these 6,500 properties, right? And if you look at the executive order, that's why in the executive order, there are, I guess some of the things that the committee is supposed to be doing is coming up with processes and procedures to how to quiet title or how to get marketable title to these properties. The thing about adjudicated properties are the way they differ from tax sales is they are not held to the 3-year redemptive period that tax sales are, right? I hear from clients all the time, "I do not own my property no more. The city of New Orleans owns the property. My property was adjudicated. I don't own it no more." If you don't listen to nothing else in this video, listen to this. You still own your property. Okay? City of New Orleans does not own it if it's adjudicated. Now, before, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but the way that the city of New Orleans would dispose of these properties is through what's called SOAP sales. And SOAP was an acronym that stands for Sale of Adjudicated Property, right? And the city of New Orleans would, in essence, convert those adjudicated properties into an actual sale of the entire property to some third party, which I have a lot of issues with the way those sales were done. Obviously, the United States Supreme Court had a lot of issues with the way those sales were done. That's another video when we'll get into Tyler v. Hennepin County and why the city of New Orleans had to change their tax sale laws. They didn't do it, the state of Louisiana didn't change the tax sale laws because they just felt they should do a better job towards residents. They were kind of forced into doing it, and we'll talk about that in a different video, right? But I hope everyone kind of understands what an adjudicated property is. It's not subject to a 3-year redemptive period. For all intents and purposes, there is no redemptive period. So if the city of New Orleans has not sold that property to a third party through a soap sale, right, then you still have the ability to go and get a redemption of the amount owed on your property and redeem it, right? So what did we learn about adjudicated properties? It was a property that went to tax sale that in essence was acquired by the city of New Orleans because no one bid on it at tax sale. It's not subject to the 3-year redemption period. Even if it's 10 years ago that your property was adjudicated, you still have the right to go and get a redemption of that adjudication if it has not been sold through the soap sale yet. If it's still in your name, if it still shows in your name with a adjudication to the city of New Orleans, you still own the property. I keep saying that because I keep hearing individuals tell me that I don't own my property no more. And I can't imagine how many people lose their property that we don't get in contact with, that doesn't know about Title MD and what it is that we do. So I'm going to repeat it again until you get tired of hearing me say it. If your property gets adjudicated, you still own your property, right? And to even add on to that, which this will be a separate video, but I'm going to touch on it very quickly. Even when your property goes to a tax sale, and the tax sale purchaser bids on that property, and in essence, the tax sale certificate is awarded to that person, even when it goes outside of that 3-year redemptive period, guess what? You still own your property. Yes, it has a cloud of title. Yes, that tax sale purchaser has options to where they can obtain ownership. But at that moment in time that your property goes outside the 3-year redemptive period, you still own your property, right? So if you have any questions in regards to adjudicated property, if you or anyone you know has any challenges as it relates to adjudicated property, reach out to us. Our number is 1-858-TITLE-DOCTOR. That's TITLEDR. You can always reach us by email at jw@thetitlemd.com. I appreciate you guys for watching. Please leave any questions you have in regards to adjudicated properties in the comments. I don't like direct messages because I like people to look through the comments and be able to see how to resolve conflicts that many people have. So if you have any questions or if you have any, comments, I guess, on this matter regarding adjudicated property, please leave it in the comments. I appreciate you guys for watching. And I would tremendously appreciate if you like and subscribe. Yes, subscriptions help a lot. They're free and they help me to continue to do this and share this information with y'all. So please share, please like, please subscribe. I'm Mars Waiters, and I'm out.